Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Sagar Tanna, co-founder of TSS Consultancy, which offers services to detect financial crimes and closing loopholes to prevent it. Uh, their flagship product TrackWizz is used by more than 150 institutions across 3 countries. Hi Sagar, welcome to ELI.
Hey, hi Priya. Thank you for inviting.
Please tell us about yourself.
So we are basically Priya. I'm a co-founder at TSS Consultancy, and it's been 11 years in this journey now. Uh, Academically, I did my engineering in information technology,
Okay.
and after about a few years of work experience, about 6, 7 years of work experience in financial markets, we kind of decided to take a plunge in this technology domain.
Okay. Tell us about the domain. What domain are you operating in? What is the current scenario and how you are adding a value?
So, post the September 2001, Al Qaeda attacks on United States. If you remember the the World Trade Center crashing down,
Right.
the world all of a sudden opened up to fighting financial crime, fighting money laundering, because it was an eye opener that how is it that a few individuals could actually manage to launder so much money, gather resources in a different country, and they were able to execute attacks at such a mass scale. So it started from there, and there is this whole need of fighting financial crime, stopping money laundering. So in the financial world, these institutions, whether they are banks or insurance companies, they are actually gatekeepers of the financial system.
Okay.
So we have a technology that helps them detect, early stage financial crime and helps report suspicious transactions and other areas of, knowing their customers and surveillance.
Okay. Uh, can you tell us how does it work in the hindsight? What is the underlying technology and how does the operations look like when you detect money laundering or financial crimes?
So it works actually in different stages. So, one important stage or the first stage is to actually see if the customer that a particular bank is trying to onboard is the person already a dreaded criminal or has a past. Okay. So
Okay.
we've actually created a data bank of all these negative sources that are available in India and some of the international ones as well, and we collate them. So the first stage is actually to detect whether you have had like a bad past, like have you defaulted on your loans or have you done a market manipulation in the past or have you dragged another institution to an arbitration court. So there are these different lists that we collate, and the second one could be more on the patterns. For example, Priya makes an investment of 2 lakhs every month, and all of a sudden Priya pumps in 50 lakhs investment. Then the system gives a red flag and say Priya's profile does not seem that he would make a sudden investment of 50 lakhs. What's happening here? Let's check out. So these are some basic checks that could be explained there.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the current happenings such as blockchain and cryptocurrency? Because there are no regulators for crypto, uh, there is no one who can prevent money laundering and all. How your platform can help there, or is there a framework to prevent money laundering through crypto?
Yeah. It's actually a very difficult problem to solve. It's one of the most, I would say, hot topics and one of the most difficult challenges that the central bank and the regulators are facing all over the world. It actually allows you, crypto allows any individual or an institution to actually transfer money in a very undetected manner. Right? There are only 2 points of detection. One, the entry point, because at the end of the day, the normal money to enter into a cryptocurrency has to enter through a gatekeeper, which is like a crypto exchange or a trading platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this checkpoint is a very crucial checkpoint. Our technology helps this particular checkpoint or this gatekeeper to detect whether the money coming in from a particular individual in an unusual business is quite large. So that's one. Talking about blockchain, I think it's a great technology. Crypto is one use case of blockchain, but I think there are a lot of other things that can be tremendously solved with blockchain. For example, the line of credit or LCs, which a consortium of 15 Indian banks are coming up with. I think there are a lot of these problems that can be solved using blockchain.
Okay. Now tell us about your story, how it all started. How did you come up with the idea to build such a product or service?
So while I was, you know, I would say learning under our family office, which is, with my father in financial services, um, you know, it, it struck to us that there is a deep requirement of technology in the finance space. Basically, somebody who could understand finance and technology.
Okay.
This will speed up execution and results. And we kind of decided to diversify and encash this opportunity back then in about 2009.
Okay. Okay. And after you decided to do something on this, how did you find the initial people to build the platform? I understand this is a technology platform, and there has to be substantial investment in developing a product or a platform. Um, can you tell about that?
It pretty much started as a two people company with me and my brother. He's the co-founder, so we both started this together. And very simple roles, Priya. Um, I would kind of go back to him and say, "This is what we need to make. This is a requirement," and he would make it, and I would go sell it, right?
Okay.
So what started as a two people company with both of us, I would say that's the team that we started with, and then gradually, of course, we had external team members join us, and we grew over a period. But the initial team was just two people.
Okay. Uh, so initially you were able to sell the product. That means the product was already market fit when you went to the market, right?
So the idea was that we went out there and we understood what the requirement was. Right, we got our first customer to say, "We don't need money. Just use our product. Can you do that for us?" Right, and if you use it, you like it, then we can talk money after 3 months or 6 months. So I clearly remember the first year sales was a nominal 1 lakh rupee, and we actually sold softwares for like 10,000 rupees, um, which is peanuts.
Right. And what was the first product that you were selling? How was it packaged and all?
The first product was pretty simple. It actually it is called inward outward. It
Okay.
would actually track all the outgoing documents for a financial institution. They could simply record saying, "Okay, today we've dispatched 1,000 documents, and here is the courier receipt numbers for those documents." And it offered a platform to scan all of those receipts that you would get. So if a customer would call up and say, "I haven't received my statement or my check," because back then people would courier checks also, um, the service executive could immediately say, "Somebody like this has signed on the receipt," and then the person would say, "Oh yeah, this is my spouse or my help," and
Okay.
it basically solved the problem in a very small way.
Hmm. And tell us about the challenges that you have faced so far while building and growing this venture.
We used to call it challenges, now we call it fun. But I think one of the biggest challenges that we face is people, right? And we categorize them as adaptive challenges because there is actually a run book or a workbook or a playbook for all technical things, but there's no playbook for people. So whether it is internal team members, our customers, our platform users, I think those remain our biggest, key challenges in terms of understanding them, their needs, their requirements, their expectations. That's really been one of our biggest challenges so far, and it seems like it'll remain a challenge going forward.
Did you pivot your business model somewhere in between?
I would say we did, two major pivots, or I would rather call them as new areas. One in 2009, immediately after we did the dispatch software, there was a need of a system which nobody knew what was needed, but everybody said we need a system to do money laundering, anti-money laundering, right, to detect money laundering. And so we stood up and we said, we can do this. There was no playbook. That was the first time we entered into something which was a niche area apart from the inward outward. That I think was the first breaking point. And the second breaking point happened with us with a change when a government of India notified something in 2016, which is now called as Central KYC Registry. Right?
Okay.
So these were two major diversifications, or you may call them as pivots as well, from what we were doing to what we started doing.
What is the North Star metric that you follow for your company?
A, the number of financial institutions that we are able to help. B, the amount or the number of transactions suspicious that we are able to detect.
Okay. Any sort of growth hacks that are you using to onboard new clients and get interest from the market?
We used a growth hack, very simple, which is invest significantly with a prospect. So, for example, we would actually give our application for use for 3 months, show them the results, and do a lot of investment for the first 3 months. Um, Eventually, two things come out of it. One, the customer sees value, and B, they are so much invested in us because they've also spent 3 months with us
Mm,
that it makes logical sense for them to say a yes or extend the relationship.
true.
So I think that's one of the most effective growth hacks for us, which is get your customer to use your product. Don't charge for it for the first 3 months, or whatever period. Yeah.
Interesting. Uh, Based on what you have done so far and what you have built so far, what is the trajectory forward? What is the vision you have for this venture?
So currently, we are, like I said, serving about 180 institutions across the banking and financial services segment. We expect to grow our reach across this. So in India, there are technically about 10,000 institutions which do need a financial services gatekeeping system like ours. So that's our ultimate goal, to kind of be able to serve everybody and help everybody fight financial crime. Of course, in doing that, we would achieve two things. One, as a byproduct, would be we would be able to reduce the financial crime in the country, and secondly, it will add to our revenues and help our team members achieve their goals as well.
Okay. So I understand since you are from a family which already had entrepreneurs in past, uh, so entrepreneurship was kind of natural to you. But can you tell me how has entrepreneurship played out for you? Uh, did you enjoy it, or did you enjoy your jobs, full-time jobs that you had more? How is it?
Okay, so even the time after my engineering that I was working in the setup by my father, where I learned. So it wasn't really like a job back then as well.
Okay.
So yeah, but it was great fun. I got to learn a lot, and then when we decided to start this technology bit, it was even more adventurous. Over the years, if I were to, look back, I would say that I've thoroughly enjoyed and I'm thoroughly enjoying. I think one of the biggest outcomes of entrepreneurship is thrill, right? You have something new every day.
Mhm.
And if you're somebody who enjoys that, which I do, I can't do the same thing over and over again. I need to keep doing something different every day. So it's fun, addressing some of these problems and decisions that you got to take on a daily basis.
As an entrepreneur, you are expected to stay energetic all the time. And if you are not, then the business usually suffers. However, there would be certain instances when you feel tired, restless, or you lose focus. So, how do you manage such situations?
I would say that I think most entrepreneurs that I know of, or I think almost everybody, are always very energetic. Um, Having said that, there are times when you feel, there are significant bad days, right? Something blows up very bad,
True.
and you're actually even thinking, how do you go and face that person or that company, because you've messed up big time. And two things, right? One, I would actually go out and accept, firstly, that we made a blunder. So
Mm.
that actually makes me very light. Once I've gone and accepted saying I've made a blunder, it makes me very light. And the second is, I kind of go back and take a very good sleep that night,
Okay.
and just tell myself that, okay, I think it's done. We've accepted it. It's a big blunder. I think it's over. So let's just go and sleep. And then the next day you start and say, okay, I think even if it takes 75 days for me to solve this problem, which is too much, I'll take it, but I'll solve it.
Mhm.
So that's how I kind of, tell myself that move on.
Speaking of blunders and failures, can you give us some examples of when you failed and how did you cope up with that?
So there's a module, in our platform that we launched, and we really worked hard for it, close to about 9 months, and the whole team worked hard for it. And you know, we were waiting for it to pick up, the market to accept it. We were like, if we put in, like, we were expecting 20x, right?
Mhm.
And the product, even after 1 year, could not even do X.
Okay.
So you could say our success rate was not even 5%. It is a big, big failure. And like I said, we said, okay, perfect. This has failed, but it's only a transaction. Um, this is not a pattern, right? It's only one transaction. So let's pick up something else. But most importantly, we did a good analysis of what we should have done before selecting this particular path. So we went back, we took our notes and said, okay, here are some things that we should not do. So from that, we learned what not to do, honestly. And the next time that we tried on, with our learnings of what not to do, it turned out to be a very good success.
Mhm. Can you tell us about the decision making process that you follow when you are taking a big decision for your venture? And if you can help us with some examples of any tough decisions that you have taken during your journey.
So, so being on the business side, and I also take care of the sales portfolio. There are definitely, some big decisions that come along in terms of. Let me talk about one specific one to you. We had one of the largest banks in India, and you know, they liked our product, and they said we could offer you a price that was X, and we felt that a fair value was a reasonable 3x,
Okay.
and we had a choice to make whether we give in to X or not, right? uh, the bank's argument was very simple, saying if you get our brand you
Hmm.
will get more business.
True.
And we were saying, but if we get into a deal but not make profit, then why should we do that deal? Now you have the largest bank of India, but there's no profit on the table for you.
Hmm.
We took a conscious call and we said, no, we will not take the deal.
Okay.
And fast forward 4 years, um, we got an opportunity to work with them, and they respected our financial terms and our pricing this time.
Hmm.
But it was 4 years, so wait. So the key concepts of decision making are first, of course, is ethics and values. Second is impact, and third is profitability and alignment of the team. I think these are the three things. So we need to know that the customer or the institution, is using our product for the right thing, which is ethics and values, and it's got to be a win-win for both the team members.
Okay. What did you say is the meaning of entrepreneurship? How do you define entrepreneurship?
I would say, for me, two words come to my mind: passion and impact. You're passionate about doing something and you think you can make an impact, I think that's entrepreneurship.
Okay. What are the different lessons that you have learned during your entrepreneurial journey uh, that you can share with us? And more importantly, we don't have to go through the same learning process that you have gone through as an entrepreneur.
Two things. First, change is constant, so accept it. You may actually want to do three things today, or you might think X today, or circumstances may be Y today, but tomorrow everything will change. Um, don't worry too much, just accept it that things will keep changing every single day. That's the first thing I've learned. The second thing is about people. When I started this journey, I always thought that I'm solving a problem of financial crimes. The most important thing for me is to build a good product. While that is important, the second most important thing is people. How would people perceive this, right? How are you going to be able to give a conviction to your team, which is again people, that this is a great problem to solve? So I think change and people are two things that I've learned over the years.
Okay. The final question: what would you say to someone who is just like you but 5 years younger than you?
I would say, um, if you want to take a plunge, now is the time.
Okay, fair enough. On this note, I'd like to close this session. It was a pleasure to speak with you, Sagar, and our best wishes for a track quiz and TSS. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Priya.